Hi, I'm Wendy, and this is Chris, and we are Meeple Overboard.
Today we are doing a review of the Cities of Splendor expansion for Splendor.
Go figure. Cities of Splendor.
Yep, I keep calling it Cities and Knights. Cities and Splendor. So anyway,
Not Catan.
Yeah, not Catan. Splendor, if you're not aware, is one of just an immensely popular game. This isn't a review of the basic game of Splendor, but I'm sure that we'll talk about that a little bit, what this expansion adds to it. But it was a nominee for the Spiel des Jahres, and I think it lost that year to Camel Up, but hugely successful. Tons of people play it. People use it as a great gateway game. And so what happens when you make an expansion for it? Well, you'll get some different opinions.
So we are also posting some videos, playthroughs of each one of these modules because there's 4 modules in the expansion. And so we're not going to sit and explain them all here. We're just going to give our review and our thoughts and feelings on them. So if you want to see how they work and know a little bit about the rules of them, go ahead and watch our other videos.
And honestly, each module is very simple in and of itself. Mm-hmm. So the first minute of our playthrough video is going to be a complete, like, everything you'll need to know about the rules. And as we talk about them, I'm sure that we're going to accidentally explain everything to them anyway, because they're that simple of additions. But I think that many of them are great. I think that many of them are good additions to Splendor, and one of them I don't like.
And there you go. That's all you need to know. So let's actually start with our likes, and I think one of our likes is actually the way that the rules are laid out. So if you look over here, there are 4 pieces of paper, and there are 4 modules, which means that each module has its own paper. It's quick and simple. Most of the page is space because they don't need to be that complicated.
No, tons of pictures.
Yeah, they've got a full example on the back so that you can really see how it works. We actually had some questions about the strongholds, and they're pretty much explained on the back. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, great production-wise. I do like the pieces of these strongholds. Like, they look really cool. I like that overall these extra cards into the game are, I don't know, everything's about it is sensical, and I like the way that they're added in. So, one of the things that I like the most is this expansion here. This board is called the Trading Posts, and what I like about this is that it uses a few systems that you're already familiar with from the game, and it just gives you a little extra. It gives you some powers based on reaching certain achievements on there.
Yeah, I really enjoy this one. It's I would say it's my second favorite out of the modules, and I enjoy it because it gives kind of a benefit for each type of card. I don't know if you can see from there, but if you collect reds and whites, you get this benefit. If you collect just whites, it's this benefit. You know, blues and blacks, greens and blacks. And so it's nice that it has that diversity so that whether you're focusing in on a little bit of everything or you're focusing really heavy into one thing, I think that it has a benefit for all of that.
Yeah, and I like special powers in games in general. And so you hit this achievement, you put your flag thing on there, and it's very apparent. Everyone can see, like, oh, Chris has this ability, Wendy has that ability, so on. And I love adding special powers into a game, because Splendor is, grab chips, spend chips to buy a card, right? And then as the engine builds, you have to spend fewer chips to buy more cards.
Sure. And
it's so basic, and so the fact that, when you buy a card, you can get a chip, or, wilds count as 2 of a color instead of just 1. Stuff like that. I love special powers. I love being different from the other people at the table. And so that is one of the biggest likes. And so that's actually probably my favorite expansion module in this box.
So are you saying it adds engine building to an engine building game?
Ooh, meta. I like it.
Who would have thought? All right, so I can never remember the name of the market. I call it the Distant Market.
That's from Brass.
Is it the Spice Market?
It's called the Orient.
The Orient, okay. It is not a market at all. So the Orient is actually interesting. So it has 3 levels of cards, just like regular Splendor, and normally you'd set aside, you'd have the regular Splendor cards out. But they have such interesting things. I love the double wilds. These, when you purchase this card, it's a one-time use double wild card, and it's so convenient because it's so hard to get wilds. The only way to get them normally is to reserve a card. And then these basically become a second of any gem that you have, and it's just like a permanent red or a permanent blue, just whatever I want it to be. So I really enjoy some of the abilities that these cards do. They've got a uniqueness to them, and they don't always help you get more gems, but they do help your engine build and they help you progress. So I don't know. They're a lot of fun.
And that's probably your favorite module?
Yes.
Right? And they're my...
Which is why I can remember the name.
They're my second favorite module because they are a ton of fun. What I like about this is you can see that it's not a ton of cards, and I love that you don't shuffle these into the regular level 1 deck or the regular level 2. They are, you have like the 4 of the regulars, and then you have 2 of each of these on the side. And so the fact that you're guaranteed going to have some of these available at any given time is a great design decision. Because I hate when I'm like, ooh, like extra power cards, like let's shuffle them into the main deck and never see them because that's the way the cards come out. That's so sad to me.
Oh, yeah.
So that, like, you always have some of these available. Also, like, this symbol here, if you can see, is you can gain a lower level card. So this is a level 3 card. So some of these are like, gain a level 2 card. And if you have a level 2 card that has that also, then you can also gain a level 1 card. And there's a few things that about the powers in the Orient, in the Orient market or whatever, that are just groovy. I super like it.
It was really fun. In the playthrough of the Orient that we did, I actually lost that game, but if you watch it, my last turn's pretty cool. There's some cards that the cost is to take some of your permanent cards and to sell them, which is fascinating. So I sold a couple permanent cards to get a higher priced card, which then got me a noble, and so I got like a 3-level card plus a noble, and it was pretty exciting. And it didn't win me the game, but it was fun.
But this one was 3 points, and the Noble Shearing was 3 points. So like 6 points in a single turn of Splendor is huge, and you don't see that like in a normal game.
Sure.
So I think this is great. I don't know, other likes that I have about this package in general is I like the box art.
She's pretty.
Yeah. We also just keep everything in this game because if you haven't known, the box of Splendor is way bigger than the actual components in it.
Yeah, so we do. We just put everything in this box, and our initial box of Splendor was like one of the Amazon returned slightly messed up ones, and so we bought this expansion, and now we have a perfect pristine box, and it's fabulous.
Yep. Yeah, our original box was pretty smashed up, but we bought it knowing that we're just going to shove everything in here. Let's
talk about this expansion. We kind of have some likes and dislikes about this one.
This one's the most middling. This is the cities.
It is, and I think my biggest dislike for it is just it doesn't feel enough different. So the way that it works is that you have to have a certain amount of victory points and a certain combination of cards to end the game. So instead of ending at 15 points, instead you're going to end 13 points and have 4 blues and 3 whites. And if you don't have that combination, then you can't win. And there's always 3 out, so you can work towards different things. But I don't know, it doesn't really do it for me. It's fine, and it's kind of like working towards the nobles, but you have to do it. And I don't know. It's like I'm kind of about it. I don't actively dislike it, but I also don't love it.
So here's the reason why I enjoy them overall. Like, they're a positive thing because you put out 3 of these cities. And like this one here is like 11 points, right? That's super low point-wise, but you have to have a diversity amount of cards. And I could be going for this, and Wendy might be going for this one, and someone else might be going for this one that's just 17 points. And they're all double-sided, and so there's a lot of variety to them in general. But the reason I think that they're a net positive overall is because I'm one of those few people that didn't love base game Splendor. I thought base game Splendor was fine. You grab chips and you're trying to get 15 points first, and that's okay. And so when it comes to, game to game variety, it's overall just not going to be that different. And so this, if this was the first expansion I ever played, if this was the first module, I'd be like, wow, look at that. Different objectives to go for, different paths to try and branch out to. And so I think that overall it's a good but not great expansion module, especially after playing with these ones that have special power, like the Orient and the Trading Post, that have that encourage even more of that branching out and diversity, I think.
So basically it's just kind of a lower tier for you.
It's a lower tier good, but it's still good, and I'd rather play Splendor with the cities than basic Splendor, just because you get more variety between game to game.
Interesting. I don't know. So when you play with these, you take out the nobles, And I really like the nobles because I feel like they're optional diversity. So either you could shoot for high cards or you could shoot for the combinations. And so I don't know, I kind of like base Splendor and this about the same. I feel like they have the same level of diversity for me.
Okay, that's fair.
So,
and there is diversity from game to game, but Splendor is one of those games that people want to sit down and play 3, 4, 5 times in a game night, and I'm burnt out after 2. Like, I'm like, hey, that's good, I love these poker chips, clickety-clack, right? But yeah, you throw in the cities, and I'm more likely to say, cool, let's play a third. Like, let's play another one. But then you switch from one module to another, and I'm like, yeah, we can keep playing this. I'm cool with that, guys.
And if you look, like, these games are relatively short. I think our longest game was the Strongholds. When we played the Orient and the cities.
They're about 17
cities,
minutes.
Yeah. What are those called?
Trading posts.
Trading posts, thank you. Yeah, they were about 15 to 17 minutes. So they weren't very long. So that's why you can play multiple games in an evening.
Yeah. And so my strongest dislike about this expansion is the strongholds.
I would say both of our strongest dislikes.
Yeah, strong dislike, strongholds. These, how they work is when you buy a card, you can then put this onto one of the face-up cards, and no one else can purchase that while your stronghold's on it. It's kind of like semi-reserved for you. But then when someone else buys a card, they can put their stronghold on or take yours off. Ha 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 ha. It's fine.
There's a little extra benefit, which I think I slightly enjoyed more than Chris, though I didn't use it when we played it in the playthrough video that you all shall see, is that if you ever put 3 strongholds on a card, then at the end of your action, you can purchase that card. So if I basically take my action, I take my 3 tiles, then I can purchase that card if there's 3 on it. Which is beneficial. It gives you an extra action, but then you're not blocking anybody else and you're not really progressing in other ways. You're just focusing on that one card. So I didn't really use it. There was a moment where maybe I could have if I had planned things a little bit better in that particular game. I don't know.
We're not experts in the strongholds by any means. I'm sure that people who play in Splendor tournaments are like, do you know the strategic options that this opens up? And I'm like, sure, but no, and I don't really care to.
It's very much a take that mechanism, and
not like a harsh one.
No,
but it is.
It is. It's like, well, obviously you're going for that big card, so instead of gumming up my reservation hand, I'm just going to throw my stronghold on it, and now you can't get it.
Yeah, now you can't get it. You have to waste your turn buying a different card to take mine off. If you're playing with 4 people, someone else might be like, "Ooh, well, he's in the lead, so I'll just put my stronghold on there now before his turn." It's fine. I don't like it. It's just not my style of play with this, right? If you want an engine building game that has more interaction, then play, I know it's longer, but play Terraforming Mars, right? Because you put out tiles on the map and the map matters more, and this stuff is just, it's just annoying. It's just annoying. And in the playthrough video, you'll notice that Wendy went first, and...
Big advantage.
And yeah, I feel like this just exacerbates like a first player advantage because she's able to block the card that I wanted first. I'm like, cool. All right, I'm just not going to get that card then. I'll get a different one. So this is a disappointment. In fact, we don't even keep these in the box.
We almost threw them away as soon as we bought the expansion.
Because we're like, the rules don't sound like there's going to be something that we like. And then we played it just to make sure, and look, these other 3 are solid. They're very good.
They are.
My last dislike, I think, is that there are 4 different modules and you're not supposed to mix any of them. And they're slightly designed so that you kind of can't. Yeah. But, I mean, you could fudge it, but I don't know. It adds to the variety between game to game, not being able to be like, let's play all 4 modules. But it's also kind of a letdown feeling.
Like you want to build up and have them all.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It's true because like this one requires nobles, so you can't play with the cities. And then it also requires multiples of cards, which is a little too easy to get if you've got
the wild
little spice wild bags. Yeah. So.
Yeah, there's a few things like that.
Sure.
Overall, I like this expansion, and I don't feel like there's anything I'm missing by throwing these away. Because like that idea of, you can take a double turn. Well, some of these say grab an extra card, or some of these are worth 2 gems instead of just a single one. So that's like a cooler way of feeling like I got extra turns.
Sure, instead of feeling like you had to figure it out and hurt people to do it.
Yep. So overall, Cities of Splendor, I like it a lot. I like it a lot more than the base game because I'm going to play more often and I'm going to have more fun playing it multiple times in a session. So there's like almost no apprehension I have about it. 2 thumbs up from me, I guess.
And I'd say overall, I really enjoy it. Like I said, this one is like to me. So if I had my choice, I would probably not play with that one ever as well.
Okay.
But I really enjoy these 2, and I feel like they add a lot to the game. And I'm fine with very vanilla Splendor and very base game. And so I think they only add good stuff.
Do you feel like you're maybe not getting enough value if you only really care for 2 of the 4 modules?
Oh, no, I think it's great value. I mean, 4 modules in an expansion pack is pretty good. Even if I get 2 of them, it's still a very unique style of game. Like, it feels very different.
I'll give you that. And I like, and I like 3 out of the 4 of them. So everything when he said, I echo. So recommend it.
There you go. We're Meeple Overboard. Thanks for watching.